All right. We are live. Do you want to start us off, James?
Well, this is productivity and procrastination, and I am James, and
And
that is
I. What?
that is Joe.
So, for those of you who may not be watching, James waved his hand, and I very much expected to have productivity and procrastination written on his hand. I don't know why. It just felt like a
You
thing
are
that would happen.
sleepy.
Yeah, we are late today. I ended up sleeping through my alarm this morning, which, dang, I must have been tired. I woke up really refreshed, though.
I was tired too, but I still got up on time,
Yeah,
and I should have gone back to bed,
that was
but I
my bad.
stayed up.
Sorry about
It's
that,
all good.
James. Sorry about that.
We are currently working on our starter project, codename Project Pancake, and it's episode 31.
Dang. Look at us being 31.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to catch up with my age soon.
Great.
All right. So, I was theoretically productive. Not as productive as I wanted to be. My goal was to have page 3 and 4 done by today, which I succeeded. Yay!
Yeah.
But it felt like I could have done more, like a lot more. It
Oh
was
yeah.
it was hard to focus.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Joe had the week off.
I did. I had the
So
entire week off.
so how did the week, like, productivity wise, like, how did that go versus a normal week?
Well, I got a lot more done. Because I mean, I got a whole page done in a week, which that's great. Actually, 2 pages, but it's like a double page, so it doesn't really count as 2 pages. The issue is that like I had a hard time focusing to get the thing done. Like I would always like get distracted and like look over and open my social media of choice and just like browse for a second or two and then be like, no, get done with what you need to do. And I'd start working on it a little bit. And then I'd be like, well, I need to be listening to something. So I'd spend forever trying to find something to listen to. I'm like, I can't find anything to listen to. Let's try watching something. And so I'll put on a show and kind of work on it while watching the show. And if I would just sit there and just actually work on it, I could get it done. But it's like my brain won't let me. And I don't understand why.
Well, I think a lot of us have that same type of deal. I mean, you think, oh well, I could multitask this section here. I could have something on in the background. And then we spend more time trying to find that thing
Mm-hmm.
than it should have taken, which bites
Mm-hmm.
into the productivity. I don't necessarily think it is bad to have something on the background, but lately I don't allow myself to search. It's like if I want something in the background, now I just put on Spotify and I go, okay, what can I randomly just throw on and is going to be I'm able to do something. And lately it's been cello actually. Thanks
Dude,
to
I
you.
listened to cello yesterday. It was so good.
Nice. So I just throw on some, and if I want some like theme to it, I'll put like dark cello or something
Ooh,
like that.
nice.
And then I just roll with that. Doesn't take much time at all, and that's really, I think, the secret. It's not necessarily chopping out some entertainment, it's the time it takes. Like, you should already have a plan if you're not sure what you're going to look for.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll try that next time. Cause yeah, and then I've also noticed that if I minimize everything other than Photoshop, I actually do a lot better. Like I don't have something to the left distracting me. It's just
Mm.
my background. Now, I think that that does help me to actually get stuff done. So I did learn that about myself this week is I have a hard time focusing, but if I minimize stuff, I have a better chance of focusing.
Yeah, YouTube's usually the fail for me. It's like,
I've
oh,
removed
I'll
it from
watch
my like
YouTube.
bookmarks bar. I won't let it be up there anymore. I
And
haven't
I
visited
always end up
YouTube
watching
since it's
stupid stuff.
yeah. I've stopped going to YouTube because I've stopped. That's because it's not up there. I had to do the same thing with like Facebook now. Like that's a new one that I
Mm.
had to get cut out because I would just click it and go. It was first
Oh
Twitter, then it
man.
became YouTube, and then now it's Facebook. And then I also removed
Mm.
the Reddit one because I was starting to use that one. I'm just making the quick, like the instant, like brain's just like, okay, internet, click, link, okay, scroll.
Mm.
I'm just stopping those. And, you know, I just keeps finding new ones, but eventually I will have no more bookmarks and it won't be easy to get to these things.
Yeah, I mean, which is weird because I'm like on the side of, oh, you don't necessarily have to cut out all the things that you
Yeah.
you put at the same time. I understand totally, you know.
It's like
Um,
I want to be getting more done. Like I wanted my goal was my secret goal. My goal I didn't tell nobody. Was I wanted to be done with page 3, 4, and 5 this week. And it's very possible I could have had I like really pushed myself.
so I've been examining myself too this last week. Well, for a while now, during my sickness, and I've slowly started to get stuff moving. I've basically just done physical stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
out, but what I'm thinking is that, you know, one, I'm doing a little bit of yard work each day now. Um, I took my weed eater out and I just started getting rid of all the things that are growing in the middle of my cracks in my driveway. And oh my gosh, it was like a city. Like I just thought it was a small task. No, these things took root. Like, feed me Seymour style. But so anyway, I did that yesterday. But what I really thought was that, you know, I need to walk around my environment, you know, get away from my normal spots and just and it's helpful because it's like there's so many things I want to do and I have to do and I've been putting off over years. Um, but when you don't allow yourself to just sit down in your normal spot and you force yourself to maybe just go into a different corner, you know, stand
Mm-hmm.
against the wall in a spot you never would be and just stare at your areas, you know, it allows you to think to yourself in different ways, you know, put yourself into those different angles. And and so just walking around my yard, walking around my house, you know, when no one's up, and just kind of jotting down things that I need to do, and and it makes you think about, okay, ultimately we have when you have a full week off, let's say, you know, that's me too. I'm in that position right now. I think to myself, you know, if I just told myself this is all I can do today, all I can
Mm-hmm.
do is these small things on my list. You know, it like you'll fight it, and you will try to reach for other things to do. You know, and you know, oh, that counter needs to definitely be cleaned. You know, that wasn't even on the list, but it's something that could be done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you when I limit my day to just doing things like that I should be doing, that I want to be doing, I claim, um, eventually,
I like that.
eventually, it you start to get some production done, no matter what, even if it's a minute amount or a pathetic amount. Sometimes that restriction, um, like I am gonna wean off of entertainment today. There is no entertainment. There is no phone. There is no YouTube. It is on my computer is the work thing and maybe some music, and that's it. You know, and you don't allow yourself to do that. Yeah, you'll move to some other thing. You'll go clean and sweep and whatever for a while, but if you do not allow yourself to have anything else besides the production up on your screen,
Mm-hmm.
um, that day is for work. You do eventually get some stuff done.
Yeah. So I've heard something similar to this where you bore yourself into doing the things you're supposed to do. So the idea, right, is exactly that you're saying. It's like you don't allow you to do self to do anything other than like sleeping or this thing. And so like your brain's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go take a nap. And then when you wake up from your nap, you're like fully rested and you're like, okay, now what? Oh right, the one thing I have to do. And you're just like bored. And then finally, fine, fuck, I'll do it. You basically force yourself into do it through boredom, and I think there is something there, something that can be capitalized on.
Yeah, I mean that's a different angle to it. Boredom. Um, I think it can start off that way because the mind doesn't know how to do the productive thing in a fun way yet. you know, so maybe it starts off as boredom. I think after a while, you start to learn how it all is fun, and then it's like, okay, it's not so much like the last possible thing you choose,
Mm-hmm.
but it takes time.
So let's think about it from a different angle, right?
Okay,
Okay, we've got the boredom angle, right? Which is great,
right?
but it feels like you're fighting yourself.
Yeah.
My question is, and I have a thought on this, but I want to hear yours first.
Okay.
How do we make it so our brain wants to do things? And it might be different for
Well,
each person.
I I like, you know, check boxes, little things to mark off, things like that. So that can if you're actually utilizing that in a way that you find fun, it can be helpful. The only thing that's a problem is that if your goals are large, open-ended, not clearly defined, then it's hard to get the little appreciations that you would like
Mm-hmm.
from the checkboxes or whatever you're using, whatever method. Akin to that could be like an actual, productivity journal or something. That, bullet journals, stuff like that people potentially can use. My problem with them over the past is that, yeah, sure, I'll collect them, but then I'll forget about their existence in a week, and
Mm-hmm.
they never take root, and they just become another notebook that I
Yeah.
find in 10 years. So, your thoughts on what I just said, or
I do think that we are hitting the nail on the head when we do our our goals and we get to cross them out and that type of thing. This week was pretty much every day was project work day. I could cross it off each day. Like I did minor amounts of project work. And then it wasn't until like Wednesday when I really sat down and was like, I'm going to get this done. And I got it done, which was like, oh, okay, cool, awesome. And then we worked together on Friday to get that done. But what would really drive me, and this is, I mean, probably pretty obvious for a lot of people, is compensation. Like how, like if I was making money from doing this, if I was, like if this was something I could see, like money being made.
That's a big point, actually. I really consider that.
So, because I mean, that's why we're doing this, so that we can do something we actually really care about, instead of the like something that we actually enjoy, instead of what we do currently for money, essentially.
You say that, and actually, that has been what's been on my mind in the last, weeks, is that what I need to work on is my business I have, at home.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, right now I'm not working, but that time is going to end after a period of time. Now, I'm not exactly sure how long that is. It's a while, but I need to, if I could set myself up making enough, I may not have to work, or I may only have to work part-time. So that is the major push for me. It's like, okay, I want to do what's going to be rewarding in the very short term, so I can't really shoot down what you're saying. I think ultimately I agree with it totally. Compensation means big time.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that factor into you right now then?
I have a theory. And this doesn't need to change the trajectory of anything we're doing, but I have a theory.
Mm-hmm.
The theory being that you use what you're doing in a short term, like kind of like, that idea I suggested, not that we necessarily need to do that, but the idea suggested where we
right.
like draw a character,
Make the characters and stuff. Yeah.
and then sell them as individual pieces, and like you get, like $1 whenever someone buys it. So you have a bunch of those coming in, right? And then you are able to be funded essentially to work on long-term projects.
Yes. That is a way of thinking about it. There's an opposite to that. And it's like, okay, like yesterday, we worked on your page together.
Mm-hmm.
We did quite well.
Yeah.
Working together. I know this isn't going to be like that for every page, but I mean, theoretically, if the amount of pages that we have to finish to actually have a, small book going on here
Mm-hmm.
is not ultimately that many.
No.
So, maybe we should collaborate more often.
Yeah,
I work on these things more often. Now that's not the complete thought. What I'm saying is that in order for you to right now make a business of sorts and start collecting little cha-chings here and there
Mm-hmm.
is almost as big of a task as,
Yeah.
finishing your book. you know,
Right.
um, and ultimately, the books are probably going to be more valuable in the long term. I'm not saying the first book's going to amount to anything, but
Right.
so what I would recommend for your situation is to work on them twofold, kind of at the same time. One, we maybe schedule a day to actually work together because that was very productive.
It was.
And two, we start working on a side business utilizing your I say photography, but your art, and potentially, maybe the way that we were conversing about the other day with the mugs and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, but in tandem at the same time, because since they're both bigger kind of projects, I don't think you should focus on one more, like exclusively almost, and then wait for that to fund the other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that you should see them as, okay, your situation is solid right now. This is your situation. And you do have a job, you do make money, you do, all that.
Right.
But if you made a day to focus on one of the major projects and maybe made a separate day to work on the other major kind of project, that might be a decent way of doing that. Um, anyway, just kind of, obviously you can break that up if you only had one day and you wanted to work on all of them at the same time. That doesn't matter. But the general concept of take these two things, yes, the project that we're doing, okay, and then the other thing that maybe can make you some passive income, um, by in your own way, with
Mm-hmm.
100% of your art. I think that would be a great approach.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think I'll start looking into that because it would be cool. It'd be cool to feel like it'd be. It would be not that I need it because I think I'm getting better about it, but it would be a affirmation that my art is worth buying or it's worth something because like people will say, "Oh, that's great. I like that. I love it," until they have to pay money for it.
Right. Yes.
And
In my
so,
industry, I know when people like favorite my stuff, right? But yeah, that's nice when they favorite it. But I'm only looking at who buys, really.
right.
My wife is cares a little bit more about the favoriting thing. But I'm like, okay, yeah, they can favorite all they want, but you don't know the reasons behind that. I don't know if they're competition, just
Mm-hmm.
favoriting my stuff because they want to copy some of it. I don't know. So unless they buy it, I don't really put too much stock in it. So I can understand what you're saying. Yeah, people can. It's cheap to say, "Oh yeah, I like it." It's it's an affirmation when people buy it.
Yeah.
So I would love to work with you. Like we were talking about, maybe setting up a shop. Um, and as soon as everybody is healthy here, I
Yeah.
say we do that.
Sounds good to me. I look forward to it. Cuz yeah, I mean having and just having a cash flow that supplements my income currently and then maybe eventually replacing it entirely would be the dream cuz that's that's the dream, right? Is being able to make it yourself, do it yourself.
Yeah, and comfortably too. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's my dream.
All right. And then my last week, I didn't do a lot of regular drawing. I did do a nice drawing that I'm pretty happy with. but you can't see it because things. I did a little bit more on on like more flowy. I'm like wiggling, like flowy lines and a lot more like line of action, that type of stuff. Really, really honing in on that to make my drawings less stiff, feel more alive, and thinking about the contours, not the contours. Yeah, I think contours is fine. The contours of the body as I'm drawing it in the shapes that I do. Instead of like, oh, I want to draw a hand, I'm like, okay, where would the hand start? How far out would it go? Is this comparative to this? It's a lot of just making sure that I'm putting these things in 3D space. And so
You ever
my
looked at
goal,
one of those bendy like people things? You know what I mean? Like those little shapy people that you can kind of
oh,
manipulate their
yeah,
arms and
yeah,
things
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I don't like those things.
Yeah.
They're a little stiff and they don't have a good flow to them.
Have you checked out like I've seen like some of them that are like an anime kind of style of people or all these various forms, and some of them seem to be better than others. So I
Yeah,
don't
I'll have to
know.
take. Yeah,
Maybe
you have
take a
to send
look
me
so I can look
some
at them.
screenshots of some that
Oh,
are
okay.
that you think are really cool. Um, but yeah, so this week my goal is to get done with page 5 and probably 6,
Nice.
which
Then this
means
is the another full week, right?
yeah. So
Excellent.
which means we need to storyboard page
Oh,
6.
no, great. Well, yeah, we can set up a time after we're done with this.
Okay.
Sounds good. Excited.
Um,
Yeah, the collaboration thing worked really well. That was the first time we did it in that way, so maybe we
yeah.
should discuss
I
that a little bit.
yeah, I do want to discuss it. So for context, I had an image of my pancake, our pancake, and and it felt like something was missing. I was not happy with the page. I showed it to James, and I don't remember what you said or how it came about, but eventually we started working together on a background. James seemed apprehensive at first, which I think was him trying to like respect my art is my art, and I don't want to do whatever. But it wasn't a big deal to me, and so we worked on it together. We ended up making something that we were both excited about. Talk to me about how the process felt on your end.
Well, I think you described the apprehension perfectly. I didn't want to intrude in your like space almost,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, we just started, I guess. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, I'll give you two things that I think, we could work with. And we just started with the one. And I kind of had the way I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, as you started doing things that were not what I was thinking, it actually started to work in different ways. So, that was interesting. And then we just fed off each other. And as I saw what you were doing, um, here and there, we would just come up with different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And the background actually became more of almost a 3D element to it. There was some more depth to it, whereas before in the beginning it was very two-dimensional
Yeah.
feeling. But when we got done, it really felt like it was depth, and the background and the wordage, if you can even call it that, was part of the entire image, and I think it worked out really well. Even the color choices changed as well.
Yeah.
It turned out really well, and it was actually it went swiftly.
Yeah.
It was a very good use of time, and I think it wasn't something that we had control over. Our previous online experience, we had like a program where we could both like draw at the same time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
This time, I was just doing verbal, you know,
Yeah.
advice, and it actually worked really well because then it's not like I took over the piece and showed exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
It was like, because it was an inadequate way of passing the information over, it's almost like it had to go through the filter of what you kind of thought about what I said. And since it wasn't perfect, you know, perfect translation, I think we got more of your thoughts in there, and that helped to blend it in an unusual way. I think it worked out quite well. I think we should actually do it that way again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there should. I don't know what capacity we should, but we definitely should. There was a lot of, I think, because we are very comfortable with each other, there was a lot of exploration during the process of trying out different things and see if they work. Because we didn't settle on one thing. Like, we tried one thing, it just really wasn't feeling it. We tried another, it just really wasn't feeling that one either. And eventually we came across something that we really liked. But it's because like we were comfortable enough to just like explore different options and try to find something that really worked. And I think that's to me, that's where art is the most fun, is when you're exploring and trying out different things. That's just me as a person. I like to explore ideas, concepts. That stuff is very exciting to me. That's why I'm really enjoying our gameplay of
Oxygen not included.
because we're like trying to figure out how all this stuff works together, and it's fun. And we get exploring.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that collaboration worked well, and it did make me think that, you know what, it was so productive in such a short period of time.
Oh yeah, it felt incredible.
That I was like,
and I can't get distracted when you're there working with me on something. I'm like, I'm
that's
honed
true.
in.
That's true. We definitely kept us to task. So it made me think, hey, even if it's just an hour block or something, during the week, I think that we should do this because it was great. It was great production.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, as pathetic as I was this week, I felt like it was something that I actually helped with. And so it was like the one thing I really felt like and that's why I thought to myself, man, we should do more of this, because if we could do this every week, that could really help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I mean, if you think about it, it's if you take it to the nth degree, like imagine later on we're working for ourselves, we have a little company or whatnot. It shows you what is possible for the amount of production that can be done, let's say in an 8-hour period, in an 8-hour day.
Could you imagine? We could probably get, like, if we worked like that for 8 hours a day,
work
5
days
days a week, we could probably have this book done by the end of the month.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm like, man, if we can just block some time together, we might be able to get some serious production done. So yeah, that was the way I was thinking.
Yeah, that might be something I'll talk to you with after the after the thing. Maybe schedule something this week, or maybe all week.
That's funny.
And
Yeah, my
because man, could you imagine? Holy
I'm starting
snipes!
to.
That is crazy.
So
Okay.
yeah, man. So how does this translate to the average person? I mean, man, if you can collab
Yeah.
with a like-minded person and actually do it together,
Mm-hmm.
that's I mean, you don't have to worry about YouTube on the corner, that's for sure.
Yeah. It does help limit distractions. It really does. Trying to think. So if you are looking for somebody to be, like a maybe like a just as a partner to talk things over with, just a reminder, we do leave the link to the Discord in the doobly doo, and that's both on YouTube and Spotify and Amazon Music and Google Podcast and iHeart Radio Cast. I don't know. I don't know what all words we're signed up for right now, but if you're listening to us, we signed up for you.
Yeah, so even throw out some questions in Discord. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you don't know anybody, well, you know us.
Yeah.
So throw out a question. Maybe we can give you some advice. I mean, just as much of experts as we are, we'll be glad to help because that's generally what this is. Is we like to help. So that's kind of why we're doing this.
Mm-hmm. What are your goals for this week?
You know, why don't you talk about yours first, and then I'll define mine in a moment here.
Okay. My goals this week are to storyboard, and get page 5 and 6 done, at least. I'm so hungry for production right now.
Well, I could almost add that to my list because
Yeah.
it'll practically be what I do. So yes, I would like to do that as well. I would also like to do what I said. I want to make a nice list of things that I want to accomplish, and I want to have that for myself. And
You write it down.
yeah, I'm gonna write that down
You should write that
right
down.
this
It
moment.
makes it real.
List. I'm gonna put this big box on it too, like it's like in 100 font. And I, it's been a while since I've done much.
It's been a while.
I want that to change. I really do want the next time for me to be excited about the amount of production that's happened. So, I mean, it's hard for me to put that down as an item, but I want to feel good about what I've done, and I'm just going to write that down.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to tap into those emotions.
So, there we go. That's my list. Do the stuff to make your goals possible, finished, and make my list and feel good about everything. That's my goals.
Gosh, could you imagine how cool we'd be if we had page 5 and 6 done?
Yeah, and I am thinking about that. So as for like closing thoughts, sometimes taking a break, even though Joe didn't get as much done as he wanted to, he did make production, and having a period of time where things can be different. Even if it's just taking a few days off and just thinking about, things. I encourage, just like the thought of, hey, look at things in a different angle. Sometimes just having that vacation can make you look at things in a different angle. And from that, thoughts can happen that can change your life. So I suggest looking things from a different angle and scheduling those changes.
Yeah. Not to. I do like your closing statement, but I just thought of something I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
So theoretically, I've had 2 weeks off, or I'm almost done with the. I'm done with 1 week off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, ish. I think no, I'm actually only 5 days into my actual vacation, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, I have not been able to quote relax, end quote. Because I guess I haven't felt like I've earned it. Because like even though I have this time off, like I should be still working on the project and that type of stuff. Only yesterday, after I was happy with how it turned out, did I feel like I could actually like relax.
Well, to quote my father, who's master of retirement and having time off, he says it takes about 3 weeks for you to really just kind of relax. And it all just kind of makes sense, So we might never really fully understand until you've actually had some real time. But maybe you need a day, or maybe me and you just need to go out. We never really did anything.
Yeah, we
for
still
a
need
certain
to.
event.
But yes, for your birthday, we'd still need to do that. But I was waiting until you're, COVID free.
Not gonna like cough all over you and stuff.
Yeah, I
that'd be great.
can't get sick.
Yeah,
I have,
exactly.
Like, no time. I'll be at work. Hello.
Totally. Yeah, maybe we give it another week then.
Maybe two.
Yeah, but anyway, that's point is that maybe you do need an actual day just to have fun where you don't have any production at all, and fun is getting out and just being is the goal.
I think that is important. I think I do need to do that. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. Now, I find that is only possible, like, to really actually feel like I can relax after I've accomplished something. Like, if there's still things looming over my head, like page 3 and 4, their combo page, was looming over my head.
That's always going to exist. And what you need to do is you need to define the relaxation day as the goal, as one of the goals of the week. And then you can allow yourself to allow for it, even if you've sucked all week.
Ooh, that sounds like an actual hard goal for me.
Maybe it is.
As weird as that sounds, like having a day, like having a scheduled relaxation day. Woof, that spiked some anxiety in me. I was like, holy shit, that sounds hard. Oof, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not putting that down as a goal.
Well, it almost sounds like something you need then. Because I'm not saying to do it for even the obvious reasons. I'm saying to do it because it can do hidden things for people. So, throwing that out there.
I could do one day this week. I'll say Saturday. I'm going to put an X through drawing daily and project work on Saturday.
Mm.
I'm going to put take Saturday off as my goal.
I'm excited to hear about that day.
I should be distracted most of the day, but hopefully when I think about, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I'll be like, okay, you can tomorrow.
Mm.
Or you don't have to do it today because it's your one day off. Do it tomorrow. You don't have to think about that today. To me, that sounds crazy because every day, every single day, there's always this gnawing, you should be doing this, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. No matter what I'm doing.
Mm.
So to have a day where that's not an option is almost bewildering.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually go on your painting trip?
Not yet.
Mm. Well, then my suggestion would be addendum the day of relaxation to go do something that you want to do, but you never allow yourself time to do.
But we have to pin. Once we get page 5 and 6 done.
Yeah, I'm saying on your scheduled day off at some point. I'm not saying it
on
has to
Saturday.
be. Yeah, I'm saying yeah, you didn't do the painting. You didn't drive out. You didn't explore. You didn't do any of that. And I think that because that's a hard goal.
Yeah.
To do that is but if it's a part of the relaxation day, it almost ceases to become a goal and turns into more of something where you're really going to find enjoyment out of it.
Mm. Fuck. You're right. Fuck. Excuse my language, but man, this is hard for me. So Saturday. We'll call it the drive and paint. Okay. Okay. Got that added to my list. What a weird week I'm going to have. That's interesting. I never realized how much I gnaw at myself. And like how much pressure that's built up. That's interesting. Because it feels like I constantly need to be like my thoughts are I should be working. That's the reason I didn't do it this week, right? Is because I was like, okay, I'm gonna get page 3 and 4 done, which is just the combo page, and then I'll have time for my painting. I'll go out and paint, but it took me forever to get it done because I couldn't focus, and so I never got a chance to actually go out and paint because. Because a couple reasons. One, it sounds hard to find a spot that's by myself and paint. And two, it sounds... I wanted to get actual like project work done this week. I didn't want to feel like a failure this week. I wanted to prove that even though I have 2 weeks off, I will not waste them because that was a big fear of mine.
Yeah, it's I've been there. I've also been in the position of going on the drive, so to speak, to paint, which I can give a little bit of advice on. How I do that in my business is, sometimes when you'd have to go do photo shoots somewhere, You need to just explore places to actually go create your backdrops. I mean, you need to find these places that exist. And so we will buy a coffee, you know, get a nice drink, go for a nice relaxing drive. You know, we're going generally slower because we're actually just kind of taking a look at everything from alleys to outdoors. And so we define the yes, we have to actually find some spots. We have to complete the project, but at the same time, we define the drive as a separate being. The drive is a relaxation drive. The drive is where we enjoy the drive itself as we are working. So I can throw that out there to you to not worry if it takes a while to find that spot. Make the drive part of and its own separate part of the special day. So there, I'll throw that out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Cool. Yeah, we stumbled upon something today. I did not know that was a thing that I had. Like I knew it was there, the always the feeling of never doing enough because I'm not working on my project, or it's not done. It needs to be it's get it done, get it done. We should be working on this. Like, that constant gnawing at you. I didn't realize how oppressive it's been. Like, to the fact that I shouldn't have a day off until I've got it done. It's very interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how Saturday goes. If something comes up, I'll definitely take notes on it so that we can talk about it next week.
Sounds good. Well, do you want to wrap this bad boy up today?
Yeah. So my closing statement is going to be, if you have your drive and paint, aka something that you've been putting off because you haven't earned it, go do it. Let yourself enjoy it.
Like it. We'll send with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We will be back next week with more ramblings of procrastinators. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.